prior to every Ocrevus infusion day, knowing that I like having my arm pricked on basically the left side of my body, of my arm, I literally put my hand in a fist and then stick my hand out and I start hitting that vein, because that's exactly what she does. She does that and then a vein pops out and then bam, she ends up poking it there. Yeah, there's a vein right there. That would have been oh my gosh, you know what my nurse would call that? She would call it a beautiful vein. She'd be like, oh, that's a beautiful vein. And I remember she said that to me the last time and I started laughing. I was like, honestly, make it sound so painful. But at the end of the day, the left side of my body is honestly, I can't feel it as much as my right side. So it kind of works in my favor with my right hand being my dominant hand and then my left hand just being useless, because when I get poked, I'm not really going to feel it as much as I would on my right hand. But I mean, I did have a blood test and that kind of hurt. Yeah. Happy Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month! I don't even know why I'm smiling about it. I don't even know if people actually say that, but you know what? They should now. Hey guys, so in this video, I really want to be talking about 9 Ocrevus infusions later, because I just had my 9th Ocrevus infusion last week, and I thought I would update you guys for those of you who kind of care or don't. Yeah. And you know I need to pee when I'm moving too much. I'll be back. There have been a few of you who've been asking me how I find Ocrevus to be, either because you're just curious, or because you're also an MSer, and also because you just want to know if Ocrevus is working for me. And I will get into that a little more into this video, but before I do, you guys are already going to know what I'm about to say, but subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And yeah, for now, I hope you guys enjoy this video. So one of the side effects that I thought I would talk about in this video is a side effect I'm really noticing after taking Ocrevus, and that's fatigue. Fatigue is something that I know people go through with multiple sclerosis as well, but for me personally, prior to even being put on Ocrevus, I didn't have any issues with fatigue. In fact, I didn't really sleep often. Like I would at night I would go into my bed and I wouldn't even be able to sleep at all, and it was just so frustrating for me. But as soon as I was put on Ocrevus, it's like I was always so tired. It's like the fatigue hits really quickly, and I just don't like it. And why I don't like it is because I fall asleep in the middle of conversations, and I mentioned this in my previous videos as well. And it's just so embarrassing, because it's like, how do you explain yourself to people who don't really know anything about you? But it's like you can't really bring it up so randomly that you have MS, because that's just weird. But at the same time, it's like I need to justify for why I'm falling asleep in the middle of you talking, because 1, you're probably really boring, so yeah, and 2, it's Ocrevus. Ocrevus makes me really tired. There wasn't much I could really say about fatigue, because I think I've talked about it quite often to you guys in my previous videos. But the question is, why am I still taking Ocrevus knowing that it causes me to be very, very tired? Well, this just gets into my next point. So if you've been watching my videos for a while now, you'd probably know that at a certain point, after my multiple sclerosis diagnosis, I didn't want to be on Ocrevus anymore. Why? Because a very few other MSers would tell me that they're not on infusions anymore and they're healing the natural way, and I thought I could also do that too. But then I also mentioned this in my other videos as well. I think for me personally, I just failed to realize that I'm not like everyone else, in a sense where just because something works for one person doesn't mean that it's going to work for me. So had I stopped taking Ocrevus, I don't know where that would have taken me. I don't know if I would have ended up on a wheelchair, if I had to be completely honest with you. It's like I was resorting to it because everyone else was doing it, or most people were doing it, and it's like, it's not something to feel guilty about. It's just, I feel like it is helping in a way, because I remember in 2017, the moment I stood up was a moment I couldn't walk, or it was a moment that I couldn't even stand. But I can do that right now, and I do feel like Ocrevus does have a role to play in with that. It definitely was difficult for me to understand why I need to be put on Ocrevus at the age of 19, so in 2017, because I wanted to be doing the things that other teenagers my age were doing, but I couldn't even do that, because I had to be linked to that stupid stick looking thing. What is it called? The intravenous infusion. Yeah, that. So I had to be linked to that thing once every 6 months or once every 5 months, and that was what I had to rely on to keep me going with my life, and I couldn't just rely on myself, and that was the part that was really difficult for me. With Ocrevus, it's actually the only DMT I've been taking since 2017. It's literally about to hit 4 years now. And it's crazy because it's like 4 years ago, I didn't even know what I had. I thought I had a tumor 4 years ago on this very day. And I remember falling asleep every night believing that I wouldn't even wake up because I was so convinced I was going to pass away in my sleep. That's how terrifying it was. Yeah. During my very first infusion, I went alone. I went alone to all of my infusions so far, actually. But that's just the kind of person I am. I like doing things on my own. But when I went on my own, I was just a little bit nervous because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know the infusion was going to be in my arm for 6 whole hours. And that was a little overwhelming, but I mean, I was okay. I think the Benadryl was the only thing that knocked me out. But yeah, Ocrevus has just become a routine for me. So it being my 9th infusion just last week, it was nothing new to me. I knew what to expect. I knew what was coming. I knew what order every test was coming. And I hate those tests, honestly. Like, there's this math test I'm okay with, but there's also this shape test I freaking hate. It's like 2 shapes, and then 2 shapes. There's 6 shapes on a piece of paper. My nurse gives it to me to look at in the span of 15-20 seconds, and then she'll take it away and tell me to draw down what I remember. And I've said this before, it's like the only thing I ever remember is a circle inside of the rectangle, which is only one of the 6 shapes. I just don't remember. It's just really difficult. And my nurse gives me this memory test where she says all of these words to me, and then she'll say it in the span of like, what, 15-30 seconds, and then she'll give me some time to repeat the words. It doesn't have to be in the order she said it, but I just have to remember what words she even said. And I hate this test so bad because I can only ever remember like 3 or 4 words out of like the 30 or 50 she says to me, and I feel like she gets so disappointed when I don't remember a lot of the words. But I mean, I don't know what to do. This is why you're testing me, and I'm acing the test by failing it, right? So is Ocrevus working? I mean, I'm falling asleep in the middle of the conversation, so yes, Ocrevus is working just perfect. But for me, I do have difficulties walking still, even after taking Ocrevus and even after having my 9th Ocrevus infusion. And I got really upset about it last week because I had my practicum last week where I was at a Toronto District School Board. I was co-teaching a grade 5-6 class, and it was just a lot of walking around, right? And it was so hard for me because I remember in the middle of teaching the lesson in front of the class, there was probably like 20-something students. I'm teaching my lesson, and in my head I'm thinking, God damn, I really need to sit, but how do you sit and teach a lesson? It's so frustrating, right? But then I just think, I'm like, you know what, it's okay. But then I was like, no, it's not okay. I just had my Ocrevus infusion literally yesterday. I'm thinking in the perspective of Thursday last week because I had my infusion on a Wednesday. Like, I've been taking Ocrevus like 9 times already since 2017, and I would expect to know how to walk, but it's like I don't know how to walk. But it's like I haven't relapsed since 2017, and I do feel like had I not been on Ocrevus, I probably would have relapsed. I do feel like Ocrevus is doing something for me on that end. But in terms of my symptoms that I have, like difficulties walking, difficulties with my bladder, and then as well as my vision, those are the 3 things I absolutely get frustrated with when it just doesn't work with me, or unless I actually trip on something and I fall down. Because here's the thing. The left side of my body is more affected than my right side, and I've already realized this even prior to my doctor even telling me this. But when I trip with my right foot, that's when I fall on the ground, because my left foot will not keep me up. But if I trip with my left foot when I'm walking outside, there's a potential for me to be standing on my feet because my right foot would try to keep me up, and my right foot is okay, right? But yeah. That's pretty much it to my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are also on Ocrevus, or if you're taking any other DMT, or maybe you don't even have multiple sclerosis and maybe you're on another infusion. I'd still love to hear from you. But yeah, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram and check out my blog. I'll post links down below as always. And I'll see you guys in my next video that I will post for next week. And I do have it planned out too. So I think we're good. But yeah, so bye guys.